How you doing? How you doing? And how you doing, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Petty, and I appreciate you stopping by today. And your boy has slight PTSD because thought I was recording about 10 minutes of this video already, and it turns out the button didn't actually start, so whoops. But I can see the numbers moving up now. My paranoia is slightly down less. We're going to take off the tinfoil hat that we usually have on there. And we're going to take a look at Cookie Run Kingdom again today. So if you missed our video from yesterday, I know it was one of our longer first look videos, but I really loved it. I thought it was absolutely amazing. And as I'm getting deeper into the game, I'm still really captivated, and I find it super refreshing, especially the battling and putting your teams together. I think that is one of the freshest takes that I've seen on gacha games in a long time. The fact that you're just running up a road essentially and you're fighting all these waves that you would still have in a traditional gacha game PvE environment. It just feels a little bit more natural, and the fact that you have that long run and your team has things that they can do to kind of, I'm particularly fond of using knockback on my tanks so that I can basically take the front line of an enemy team, push it into their mid line, and then be able to start popping my damage and nuking them all up. So I highly recommend it. If you missed yesterday's video, you should definitely check that out. If you're a newer viewer and everything that's from the Cookie Run side that's trying to find out stuff on the game, hi, how you doing? My name's Petty. The way that we like to treat content here is that I want it to feel more like a conversation with a buddy. I am by no means a hyper expert on gaming or a big sweaty player, anything like that. I'm just a guy, okay? Just a guy. Do my best to get the best information that I can give to you guys, but I'm not a big fan of a bunch of edits or anything that makes it look like, you're only presenting the best front and everything. I'm not a fan of really curated content. I would rather this have a bit more of a personal feel, and you guys, feel like a buddy's just talking to you. Because that's where the level of expertise I would like to keep this. Just your buddy talking to you. Not the resident mobile expert gamer. It's not what we're here to say. So if you're a fan of that and you want to support a smaller channel, I'd really appreciate it. So let's go ahead and get into this list. Let me pop up my notepad and everything. So how we're going to try and do this video is essentially kind of go through the categories. We're going to run through the healers first, then we're going to look at the tanks, then we're going to look at some of the damage dealers, and then we're going to take a look at some of the best supports. I tried to keep cookies from showing up on multiple lists, but for a few of them it was kind of inevitable. But let's go ahead and take a look at them, starting off with the tanks. So let's pop up our list of cookies real quick, and the first one we're looking for is Milk Cookie. If you happen to pull this man, he is considered a god tier tank, one of the best tanks in the entire game, no question. He's got some damage reduction in his kit. I think there might be a little bit of healing in there as well. He's got taunting, which is super strong. You can put him with a brawler in your first line, and your brawler isn't going to take anywhere near as much damage because Milk Cookie is forcing the enemies to focus on him, which is huge because your brawlers aren't necessarily tanks, but we'll get into that with the next list. So right off the bat, Milk Cookie, one of the best tanks in the game. Followed shortly after by our boy Dark Choco here. He has got defense break in his kit, which is huge. If you're coming from the Cookie Run IP and you haven't really played any gacha games before, defense break is one of the most fundamentally broken things that you have to have on your teams, especially when you start getting towards endgame stuff. Defense break is an absolute must, and he just he's showing up to work. Okay, he's doing a lot of damage. He's doing AoE damage technically because he's got some chain lightning going on, and the defense break is just absolutely huge. So another top tier tank. Our buddy here, Madeleine, I don't know, Cookie, is our third in line for the throne. I think the reason that he ends up behind the other two, while he is good, is he's kind of the paladin of the group. You know what I mean? He's got a little bit of self-healing that he's doing, and he's a very solid tank. I think because he doesn't have the taunting or the overall damage reduction that Milk is bringing or the defense break that Choco is bringing is why we see him in the number 3 runner-up spot. But these are your 3 top tier tanks, no questions asked. These guys are absolutely amazing. And if you happen to pull them, yeah, you should probably be using them. So after him, we start going down the list. And this next one is kind of what we were talking about before, where we're putting a brawler kind of in the tank category. It just makes a little bit more sense in my head that if they're frontline units, they're basically tanks. And again, with certain ones, like Milk, that you have the taunting ability on, you can take some of the damage off of your brawlers, because they aren't as tanky as your literal tanks, obviously. But this is a very solid frontline brawler unit. It's got some, I want to say, damage over time that it does. Yeah. So its main attack does some dot damage, which is cool. You don't usually see that a whole lot on tank and frontline units. Next one we're going to take a look at is definitely still in that same vein of being they're a frontline unit, they're a brawler, so they're not really a tank. But this one earns its spot in the tank list a little bit more than Yam because of its wolf form, where it gets increased health as well as increased damage. So in the brawlers, they're not really pure DPS units. They're more of like a DPS and a tank had a kid together, and that's what the brawlers are. So it's another reasoning why I'm kind of putting them on this list. So after that, I believe we're going to start getting into our rare units. Yes, with Avocado Cookie. So this one is pretty strong. It's got some nice damage over time, and it also buffs your top damage dealer, essentially. Whoever has the highest attack power on your team, it's going to get a little bit more attack power because of our boy Avocado here. After Avocado, oh, you know what? We completely skipped healers. Okay, healers are going second. My bad. I just realized looking at my own list, like, you missed some, bro. Next one on our tanks, though, because we're just going to keep stride with that, is Night Cookie. You can see that I've gotten this guy. I'm going to be building him until I get a better unit. As soon as I get someone that was mentioned before on this tank list, we're snapping them up immediately and letting this man retire. But for early game, super happy to have Night Cookie on my team, and he's going to do some great work. After that, we have another sleeper, Princess Cookie. Princess Cookie is a great frontline unit. Princess Cookie has defense break on their attacks. That's great. That's 10 out of 10. So if you pulled Princess Cookie and think that you did not have an absolute banger of a frontline unit, you do. You should probably use someone a little bit tankier with them. I don't think you should be putting 2 brawlers in front thinking that that's going to be fine. But Princess Cookie is going to show up to work on your front line. And don't you forget her. And then after that, we've got the girl that they gave us all at the beginning, Strawberry Cookie. She can take you through an early game, no problem. But you should absolutely be replacing her once you get some of these other units. But she does great work for, early game. So for the first couple of worlds, she'll do you okay. But after that, you should definitely be planning to replace her. So let's go ahead and give healers their due now, since we skipped right over them in all of our cruelty. Number 1 healer in the game, there's almost no question across this in the entire community, Herb Cookie. The man's showing up to work. I believe it's a man. Yeah. One of the reasons that this healer is so very strong is he also cleanses debuffs, which, again, for all my gotcha vets, you guys know that is a top tier thing to be on your team. That is the reason that this man clearly earns his top spot. Amazing heals, clears debuffs, done. That's all you need right there. That is anything you could ask for in a healer. So after that, obviously, we got some others. Now, we've got Sparkling Cookie, who is a pretty good healer, and he also increases everybody's critical strike chance. So that's not to be overlooked. You could potentially, take up a DPS spot and put him in if you've already got a main healer, and get that increased crit strike chance. You could almost use this man as a support backup healer, because again, that crit strike buff is just, that's noise. You don't get that a lot in these games, so don't overlook that. That's pretty good. So that man earns his number 2 spot easy. Not as good as, removing all debuffs. That's pretty broken. Or removing debuffs. I shouldn't say removing all. I don't know what the limitation is on how many debuffs Herb can remove at one time. Oh, all debuffs. Okay, so I was using that correctly. Thought I was overselling it for a second. I'm going to walk it back if I can. So, that's, pretty good. Nothing to shake your fist at. After that, where is our here? This buddy is going to pop up on another list towards the end. Because again, healer / support. Where this guy is actually increasing attack speed of everyone in the group, which again is probably one of the strongest support buffs in any gacha game. Period. Just period. So. His heals are okay. They're not end of the world. But this is another guy that if, you don't have a top tier healer and your teams keep getting murdered, you can throw this guy along in with your main healer, and he'll help supplement, and he'll also build the damage for the rest of the team, which can be pretty strong. So don't want to undersell those guys. After that, we get to one of the buddies that most of us will probably have early on in the game. I'm pretty sure they give him for free in the first world. I know that I got him again and was able to ascend him up, but this is the baseline healer for basically everybody. He's good, but he does have fall off towards the end of the game, so you don't want to overinvest in this man because he is absolutely going to be replaced once you get some of those better units. So he's going to be really good for you early game. Early game, keep up with him. Just don't spend too much. If he's doing good, cool, leave him where he's at and everything. If you feel like you need a little bit more out of him, you can put a little bit into him. Obviously with a unit that you're not going to be using at endgame, you don't want to spend too much of your early or mid-game resources on. You want to focus those on people that you're going to be using for a while. But once we've gotten a little bit more playtime on the game, we'll try and get a real, like beginner's guide and everything out to the game where we kind of go through some of those ideas and theories in more detail. But he's a good guy. Just, don't overinvest in him. And then after that, where is he at? Oh, we actually know we have him. We've got Angel Cookie. This is not a good healer. You should probably not be using him. You should be using Custard, if anything else. But if for whatever reason you don't have Custard or you absolutely hate Custard, here's a backup. But again, you should immediately replace them as soon as you can. As soon as you can. Not a great healer, but they will do the job for you very, very early game. After that, let's go ahead and get into the damage dealers. How we doing on time? Oh, we're doing okay. We haven't gotten too ridiculous now. So first damage dealer we're going to look at, which is the event going on right now, or at least the banner pool, is Espresso Cookie. Pretty strong damage. Them and Licorice Cookie are considered the 2 best DPSs in the game, hands down. After that, there are some people that you could put on this list that kind of show up. Like, here's where you could also list Purple Yam Cookie, where you could put Werewolf Cookie. But since they're kind of on the other one already, I wanted to leave them off of here. Next one that we could be looking at is, where is Tiger? There he is. Tiger Lily Cookie. This unit is pretty good. They've got when they're effective, or when their skill is active, they attack a lot faster, which is why this gets picked a lot when it comes to damage dealing units. Because, attacking more means more damage, y'all. That's why attack speed is always king in all of these gacha games, because attacking faster is huge. It's always huge. That she is very, very popular for that reason. After that, we've got Vampire Cookie, as soon as we can find her. I know we don't have Vampire Cookie yet, right? No, she's an epic. She's an epic, I'm pretty sure. Where's... Oh, there. This cookie has life stealing, which, can be pretty big if you're doing a fight where you're going to be taking a lot of backline damage. This can be a really strong really strong cookie for that. Trying to use the game's terminology. But not the greatest damage dealer in the game. Definitely rated on the good to average side instead of the high end. After that, we've got Rye Cookie. Now, there's a caveat here. If you're talking about regular PvE, Rye Cookie is average. If you're talking boss fights, Rye Cookie is one of the best damage dealers in the game because his attacks scale off of HP. So basically, it will go after the lowest max HP. Essentially, he's just going after whatever has the most health. Obviously, in boss fights, that's going to be bosses, and he does big damage against stuff with a lot of health. So when it comes to boss damage, he is a top-tier unit competing with Espresso and Licorice. But outside of that, he's good damage. He's not amazing, breaking the game for you. He's not going to be your hard carry. But in boss fights, he's definitely showing up to work. You need to put respect on that man's name. After that is going to be our girl, Chili Pepper Cookie, that they give everybody for free. She's great. She's great. This is one of the starter units that you actually have a pretty decent chance of using them for a while going down the road. A lot of the other units you will replace, but she is also the only epic that the game gives you for free at the beginning. So kind of makes sense that she has a longer shelf life than the rest of the starter units. But, respect her a little bit. After that, we're going to get into some cookies that are usable, but not exactly great in the damage department. So Snow Sugar Cookie is a mage that is mid to low tier. Just not super oppressive. She's got some CC, but there's much better damage dealers. There's much better CC people in the house. So unless you don't have any of those things, then she's usable. But I would, kind of put that in the category of I wouldn't overinvest in this character because over time you are going to replace them. And until, she gets buffed or something like that, she's probably going to be gathering dust on your bench. So if you happen to pull this champion or kind of any of the other ones we're about to talk about that are still in the DPS category, they'll do okay for you, but you should definitely be trying to replace these people as soon as possible. So after Snow Sugar, we've got Poisonous Mushroom. I don't know if this man is here because his damage over time multipliers aren't that great. I would think the daughters would be pretty good, but not super high on the list. Not super high on any of the lists that I'm seeing online. So unfortunately, our buddy's here towards the bottom. Hope you get a little bit more love, bud. After that, we've got Blackberry Cookie, and I'm not sure what she looks like. Hell yeah. Oh, nope, that's Gumball. Da 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 da. Alchemist, nope. Not a great unit either. At the bottom of a few lists. Oh no, there's quite a few bombers. I thought there was only one or two. It's Blackberry Cookie is okay. She also increases party's critical strike chance, which isn't bad. So wouldn't be an awful support DPS to put in if you had a harder DPS carry that was already on your team, but definitely isn't strong enough in the damage department to be a main DPS themselves. There's quite a few support kind of characters, but they also kind of filter into some of the main roles, like Mint Choco for healers, and Purple Yam Werewolf for tanks, Also kind of little baby butt. Madeleine, since it's got some healing on it too. There's some flexibility here with some of these classes and how they're kind of working in your team setups, which is one of the reasons I find this game super interesting. I think the team dynamics and the way that they've done combat makes it super, super interesting. So again, if you're not sold, you should be playing this game. After Blackberry, then we've got Strawberry and Cherry Cookie, but these are, you know, they give you Strawberry. She's kind of one of your early tanks. And then I don't know if I have Cherry yet. No. Beet is terrible. I definitely wouldn't think. No, that's Adventurer Cookie. Okay. Okay. I don't know where Cherry is, but Cherry is one of our other ones that, oh, there we go. We have Cherry. That's why she's there. So Cherry's also all right. But again, those are more towards your good and average ranked DPS, not your crazy high-end ones. If we didn't touch on them, that means they're really not good DPS. And that honestly does kind of wrap up our DPS category. In terms of support, again, there's going to seem like there's fewer of these, but it's because the other ones that would have ended up on this list have already shown up elsewhere in the list. But we've got some people that are very much dedicated to they are just support, and they're amazing at their support role. Pomegranate Cookie, one of the best supports in the game. This girl is absolutely nuts. She does a little bit of healing, but she also attack boosts your people. And I think her second skill is also really good for support. But obviously we don't have it unlocked yet, so I can't tell you exactly what it is. But she is top tier support. Followed by, and we'll go ahead and mention him again, but our boy Choco, who is again doing a little bit of healing, but that attack speed boost is huge. So that man is also in the support category, doing a phenomenal job. And then one of our other honorable mentions in this is Pancake Cookie, and I'm not sure what he looks like either. Do we have Pancake Cookie already? I don't think we would. Nope. Oh, we do. Okay. And I think this man's second skill is where he's getting more of the support in, but he also has a little bit of a boost into attack speed for the party. So that ain't bad. And his little bomber run thing is super, super adorable. He's the best little flying squirrel cookie ever. But again, that his super support role is when he's doing a line of bombing. He's basically dropping a bunch of explosive acorns all over the team that you're fighting, while also boosting your support. So, doing pretty good. And we'll try to come back and do more dedicated videos to each of the roles and be able to talk about their kits in a little bit more depth. But I wanted to at least get a video out that kind of gave you guys an idea of what cookies you should be looking for in which groups and everything. Because hopefully you're like me and you're just digging into this as quickly as you can. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be far enough in and I've been doing enough research that I feel more comfortable trying to do like a beginner's guide for it. But this game just came out and had 1 million downloads, so we're going to try and support it a little bit, throw some content out for it, because it deserves the love that it's getting right now. So hopefully you guys are checking it out. Hopefully that you're finding it as good as I am. And yeah, we'll see you tomorrow for a little bit more Cookie Run Kingdom. Alright guys, thank you so much for stopping by today. I really appreciate that face. You're gonna have to catch your boy on the next one, because we're out of here. Deuces.